Gate spins along as it should.
Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection instead?
Well, hello, fellow adventurers. I thought I'd do a video about respecking your wizards in particular. Because wizards learn spells. And they build a spellbook. And I am probably not the only one that had some trepidation before going to Withers to respec, thinking about, what about all those spells that I learnt from scrolls? So, just to put all the best information up front, you don't lose your spells if you respec as a wizard to a different subclass or even to a different class entirely. In fact, you can, as a wizard, learn a bunch of spells into your spellbook, and you can respec into a sorcerer as your first class and a wizard as a later class, and you will still have the spells that you've learned as a wizard in the first place, which I think is really great, because it means that you feel a little bit freer as to be able to respec as other classes have the freedom to respec, without this sort of idea that in the back of your head that, well, there's a bunch of stuff that I've learnt as this class. If I respec, do I suddenly lose that information? And the good news is that you don't. So I'm actually just gonna do a quick respec here. I'm gonna start so I'm Gale, and I've been a wizard. I've been a transmuter wizard. Unfortunately for Gale, he didn't get to participate in much of the adventure because I had spec'd him out as a transmuter wizard primarily to create more potions. And for most of the adventure, Gale has been holding up at camp, where I've added him to my party occasionally to create potions, and then I've taken him out of my party and I've gone on with other people. But in the later game, around 10th level, I did start bringing him into the adventure, and he has been quite effective. And in fact, the transmuter archetype has grown on me. It has a very weird 10th level benefit that you can turn into a blue jay and fly, which is sort of, as a 10th level wizard in D&D, flying is not a problem. So it's a very strange 10th level benefit that you can turn into an animal and fly. But the transmuter wizard, and in BG3 in particular, potions are incredibly powerful, and they are limited. You will not find vendors that carry lots of potions of speed. You will get one potion of speed per vendor that can potentially carry that potion every couple of long rests. They are not carrying multiples of them. Out of 3 or 4 vendors that I know that carry them, they'll carry them every other long rest potentially. And the potion of speed is so powerful that you really, in tough battles, you feel like that's a massive edge that you can get to take a potion of speed, or hill giant strength, or cloud giant strength. And of course the hill giant strength and cloud giant strength are potions that last until you have a long rest. So you can pop a potion in the morning and have 23 strength all day, or in Cloud Giant strength 27 strength. It's up there. It's huge. So potions are incredibly powerful, but they're very, very limited. So the idea of having a wizard specifically to create twice the amount of potions that you can create. So if you've got 6 hyena ears, you can create 4 potions of speed, and that's a big deal. 4 potions of speed versus 2 potions of speed is a very big deal. So I did take advantage of the fact that the Transmuter Wizard did that, but I didn't really use them for very much else. But they also do have the feature of creating the Transmuter Stone, which is creating a buff for a particular saving throw, or Constitution, Dexterity. You can have a Transmuter Stone, and you create a Transmuter Stone, and you give it to a party member. You just put it in their inventory, and they have a advantage, or I don't know if it's advantage or it's giving them proficiency in that particular thing. But if you give the Constitution Transmuter Stone to your cleric, they're much less likely to fail their Constitution saving throw when they're trying to hold on to a spell like Bless or Haste or whatever else they're trying to keep the concentration on. So the Transmutation Cleric, Transmutation Wizard subclass is, I think, pretty good. Pretty good. Twice the amount of potions, some really powerful buffs, and at 10th level you can turn into a blue jay and fly. But anyway, I guess the reason I came across this question was because I wanted to turn my my transmutation cleric that I'd been transmutation wizard that I'd been keeping in camp. I wanted to turn him into something more powerful. I wanted to try a sorcerer, Tempest Sorcerer, and an evocation wizard out, but I was very concerned that I had learnt a bunch of spells that I was suddenly going to lose when I did that. But here I'm going to turn into a sorcerer, and this is not supposed to be any sort of but the Storm Sorcerer and the Evocation Wizard definitely seemed like a potentially good combination, and I wanted to go the Sorcerer first because give a little shout out to some people who have some really good thoughts on building D&D characters, the D4D or the guy that does builds, Corey, I think his name is, had done a video on the Tempest Cleric and the Storm Sorcerer multiclass, and he had started off with the Sorcerer specifically because the Sorcerer got proficiency in Constitution saving throws, and I thought that was quite a good point. And but I was concerned that if I took a wizard and I respecced him as a sorcerer first and then went into wizard later, again, what's going to happen to the spellbook? Because there's no spellbook with the sorcerer. But as I've experimented with this, you can start off taking a wizard, turn him into a sorcerer, and then become a wizard later, and he will still have his wizard spells that he's learned throughout the game. So I thought that was certainly for me quite a big deal. So I really don't care about having that persuasion or intimidation or deception on him, because the front man of the group is a bard with 22 charisma, so this wizard is not talking to people. I mean, can I give him a little bit of athletics? Because he's going to have 8 strength. I mean, I don't know. I've never really tried that. I can't really give him anything else. Really, no interest in any giving him any of the charisma skills. I think religion is the only thing that I can give him. Insight, I guess. That's fine. I say it's fine. I really didn't look at the. I might have to reload. I know he's what? 17 charisma, 12 intelligence, 15 constitution, 13 dex. It's not how I would ideally do it, but I will run with it just for the sake of this example. I think I'm just going to give him a couple of levels of. Well, I guess I'll go with it primarily Sorcerer, and then give him a couple of levels of Wizard at the end. Just for the example, and that would make the most sense with these stats. So we'll say he's primarily a Sorcerer, and we'll give him the Wizard later. I really shouldn't overthink this because I've got to considering all the spells that he's learned, but I'll just take. I know that, so I'll just take shield because it can be used as a reaction, and we'll just take distance spell, and we'll take twin spell, and that's fine. So it's highlighting the spells that we already know in the Wizard Spellbook, so that's pretty useful. I would have thought I would have known Misty Step, but I think I'll probably take. Well, Misty Step is such an easy one to have in the Wizard Spellbook, and one that I'm not worried about a saving throw on or anything. So I'd really rather learn something that someone has to save against. I mean, really. That's probably the. I'll just go for the Scorching Ray because there's several of them, and that's quite a useful mechanism. We'll just go for the Heightened Spell, which reduces the ability of the enemy to save. So we're getting to level 4. So, I guess the quicker that we get to the Wizard, the quicker we sort of demonstrate this. I really like Mage Hand. I really like Mage Hand. I have a little bit of an obsession with combining Mage Hand with Enlarge, because it gives the Mage Hand better ability to push people off ledges and what have you, and to me, it's quite funny, the idea of the oversized mage hand having better stats for pushing people off of ledges, because taking a mage hand and using the shove action on it is probably, for the people getting pushed off of a ledge, one of the worst ways to get pushed off of a ledge. And I feel like the idea of being pushed off of a ledge by an oversized mage hand is even better. Again, there's not anything particularly interesting. I mean, Cloud of Daggers is always useful, but I've got so many versions of Clouds of Daggers across my bard, and it gets used. I guess I'll take Misty Step, to be honest. I shouldn't overthink it. This isn't really a well thought out build. I'm really just doing this to demonstrate the I mean, I'm tempted to, really tempted to take the dexterity over the constitution there, to be honest, because they're both at odd numbers, and each one of them, I mean, 16 constitution for me is huge. I usually have a constitution 12 to 14 is sort of my big constitutions. And having more dexterity is, I feel pretty good. I mean, having an intelligence of 12 is pretty funny as for someone who's going to then spec into wizard. But as I said, I didn't really look at that too hard when we were doing this. But I guess at this point we've already got our feet, so I'll now spec into our wizard. And I'll spec into the evocation class, because I'm confused at what that yellow line means. It means I already know it in another. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we'll take minor illusion. Got 2 offensive cantrips and 2 I like Ray of Frost a lot. Because I'm going with the electricity route, the shocking grasp is often one to consider, but I do very much like Ray of Frost. I wonder if it's worth talking about in this. Have I already? This is really confusing me. I think this is already in my. These are the things that are already in my spellbook. At this level, I guess. Is that saying did I already pick up magic missile? Yeah, this isn't very well. But this isn't. I know I picked up shield. I think I picked up mage armor, but you know. But actually, it doesn't matter, because wizards can, of course, just prepare whatever spells from their spellbook, and I'm not sure if these are. Well, I'll just go with. I'll go with Tasha's. And I think Tasha's is a pretty good spell. I do have it a lot across a couple of different characters, but it really is incredibly valuable and can take out some very powerful enemies sometimes. It's got to be used contextually. It's a wisdom saving throw. Using it on, you know, some other cleric or paladin or whatever is not going to work. But if you've got some run-of-the-mill high strength, high dexterity, high constitution person coming at you, Tasha's can completely debilitate some very strong characters in the right situation. It's really good to have in the back pocket, because a lot of these things are constitution and dexterity saves, and there are some incredibly strong characters in this game that have, you know, like, you know, 20 constitution, 20 dexterity, and anyway, don't really worry about preparing spells. But anyway, let me just I'll go to the level 2 where we get our class anyway. Evocation. I mean, I guess we'll take Witchbolt, electricity, root, what have you. But it doesn't matter what spells we prepare, because we've got them in our spellbook. So we'll jump out and we'll take a look at the spellbook. And there's the Sorcerer spellbook, and here's our Wizard spellbook. And I guess you'll have to take my word for it, but these are, well, you can know that these are spells that I learned only from raiding Lorurican's tower. If you've played this game, you know that I will not have this particular spell in my spellbook if I had not done that quest and read that book. But anyway, you can just take my word for it. These are spells that I've only learned from... many of these spells I've learned from reading scrolls. And even when I respec into Sorcerer, and then only respec into Wizard later, they're all still there. So, just for a bit of fun, I'll do the large mage hand just for fun. Ah, well, I don't have my enlarge prepared, so let's prepare that. Gaseous form, I gotta love that. So let's just go into turn-based real quick so we don't waste our mage hand. Look at that! Massive. Maybe it just tickles me, but let's go and push follow. He's not a great example because he's not... I'm sure he doesn't have great strength. No, he's 9 strength. He would be shovable. They got anyone with higher strength that's more difficult to shove? Actually,
whatever
I
it
think
takes.
Shadowheart is, believe it or not, one of my strongest characters. As in, she's got 18 strength.
really.
We're a long way from
I
Waterdeep.
wonder why. Attempt to have turn base. Alright. Large hand. Try and shove that young lady. Not enough movement.
What am I to do? Did you do that on purpose?
It's pretty. You know, I haven't used this in real life, and of course, it's quite expensive. It takes up 2 actions. But if you had a major hand out anyway for some other utility, I mean, put it this way: the just vanilla mage hand, it's quite effective at pushing people off ledges. Certainly goblins and what have you, but if you wanted to push someone off that had higher athletics or higher strength and what have you, it takes 2 actions to create. I do wish that Mage Hand was a bonus action, but if you had a Mage Hand out anyway in a combat and you had Enlarge Reduce, you can make a big Mage Hand, and it would be more effective, I think, at pushing bigger and stronger targets off of ledges. Anyway, the purpose of the video was really to just talk about, can you respec your wizards without losing your spellbook? And yeah, you definitely can. You definitely can. And if you watched this video, thank you. I appreciate your interest, and I hope you share the same passion for the game as I do. So, thanks a lot. Bye bye.